Hello and welcome back to Rise of Flight. I'm Sven Vanderplank and today I'm going to be doing the second mission in my Rise of Flight journey. You'll see I'm back in the trusty Pfalz E.II. This time though I'm in the Bavarian Flying School livery and I'm going to check out my mission description here and you'll see what's going on. Here we are in the map pen. Let's load up our description. So it's the 1st of August 1915. This is exactly a year after Germany joined First World War. Diary of Otto Spiegler. This is my German pilot I've created here. The German advance has ground to a halt. The reality of our war with the Allied powers has not lived up to the heady ideals we started with. But there is still one place where a man can fight with dignity. The skies above the battlefield. My family was able to pull some strings and get me a spot in the Bavarian Militär Fliegertruppe. The unit has recently been outfitted with a pair of Pfalz E.IIs for training purposes. My first flights showed promise, and my instructors promised to help me get a posting to an Eindecker-equipped unit. Soon I'll be departing for the front, but today I'll be practicing some more advanced maneuvers. Okay, now you'll see, looking at the map here, that I am actually in the Eastern Front map. However, I'm going to be flying down in this southwestern corner here. This area is the Carpathian Mountains, but in my Bavarian military flying school, we're going to pretend we're in the Bavarian Mountains. We're going to be departing from this airfield down here. You'll see to the north we have this convergence here of several rivers. Is confluence, is that the word? Did I just invent that for different rivers meeting? Just to the north of the town of Yesinia here. We'll ignore that. It's a Bavarian town name. We're going to be flying somewhere to the north, I think, and then we'll turn around. The whole time we're going to try and gain altitude, though, while we prepare for our more advanced maneuvers. Right, let's begin the mission. Okay, here we are then, in our Pfalz E.II. Same aircraft as before. I've got the same setup. I've got my clock down here, but I don't have any other extras turned on. Off to my left, I've actually got another Pfalz E.II over there. He's going to be doing his own thing. We're departing without him. And yeah, no wind, as you can see, or I don't think so. If it is any wind, it's too slight to make the windsock there register anything. We're going to be taking off, gaining altitude. We're going to go for around about 2,000 meters. We will see. And then once we're above this airfield, at that height, I'm going to pull off some more maneuvers. Anyway, let's put our engine to full mix, or full rich, I should say. Start our engine. It might take a second here. We don't have the engines warmed up yet. Just have to wait for them to gain temperature a bit more. Here we go. Oh, not quite. Okay, take another attempt here. Alright, let's quickly adjust our mixture to get maximum. Oh, hang on. Need to adjust our rudder here because we're straight off course already. I think just over 1150 there. There we go, that looks more or less maximum there. 1150, I think that is. Right, let's get going. Leaving our airfield behind, or aerodrome. You can see these beautiful Bavarian mountains around us. Look at that one over there. I think of Bavarian mountains being snow-capped, but they're probably not in the summer. I'm not entirely sure what the quickest way to gain altitude with is in this. I don't want to pull back so far that I lose all my speed, because then I'm probably just going slow. What is this thing registering down here? There's like some level of oil or fuel freaking out, and a little bar. What's it say on it? Manometer. Oh. Rolling to the left here. Let's pull up and gain some height. So I'm about 500 meters. I suspect that's over sea level though, and probably not over the ground here. No, definitely not. Somewhat doubtful that this aircraft could hit 5,000. To be slightly... Oh, maybe I just didn't have my rudder central there. Should probably introduce a little dead zone for that. I pull back a little bit more on the stick. There's that river, there it is. So you can see that's where all the rivers meet. I'm going to be following this one to the left a little bit as I continue to gain height. So the manoeuvres I want to do, I want to practice spin recovery. Now, spinning is something that can happen either accidentally or intentionally. Either way, I need to practice getting out of a spin, which is not the easiest thing in the world. While I'm on my way over here, you'll see on the control stick here, there's a button just there. As I press it, the engine momentarily cuts out, which isn't good for us gaining altitude, so I won't do it too many times. What that is the blip switch. I've got it mapped to the top of my joystick here. And that is to stop the engine from either over-revving when we're in a steep dive, or we can use it to help us landing as well. So I think last time out, I just leaned out fuel mixture, but I don't think that's particularly good for the engine, but then probably neither is the blip switch. So we'll practice landing with the blip switch this time rather than landing with our fuel mixture. So I've hit 1,000 meters here, more or less. Just keep climbing. Now look outside the aircraft. Oh, I can look at that. Oh, I'd like to listen to the audio as well. As I lean out from behind the window there, I get more sound. That's an awesome detail. I imagine in real life the wind noise is probably louder than the engine is. When you lean here, it's just deafening roar of wind. I know from riding my motorbike that the engine just disappears compared to the wind noise once you get up to a high speed. Still climbing here, taking our sweet time though. This is not a particularly powerful aircraft. We don't have particularly large wings either for gaining altitude. Now on this day, the 1st of August 1915, something fairly significant happened in the lives of one of the most famous aces of World War I. Max Immelmann, one of the top German aces, particularly of the early war, scored his first aerial victory. So he was flying, I believe, Fokker E.II, which was a slightly less powerful aircraft than this one. And the first thing he did after scoring his victory was write straight to Fokker himself and say, "Hey, give me one of your more powerful aircraft. I could do so much more with one." Max Immelmann, of course, was flying over the Western Front. I believe he was flying close to Belgium. So, primarily, well, not necessarily primarily, but against all sorts, the French, the British, and the Belgians. I'm going to turn around once we hit 1,500 meters here. I'm going a little bit off course. I wanted to follow that river more. I think there's so many trees in these mountains, it's struggling to load them all. I have everything set to max. I think I'm managing around about 60 frames per second. If the frame rate drops too much though, let me know and I can maybe make some adjustments. Since we're not seeing these trees anyway, I can probably do with dropping some of the details on them. Do a slow turn around here. You'll see, as I mentioned last time, it takes a long time to roll this aircraft with its wing warping technique here. It doesn't have ailerons, but we can use our rudder for a much quicker turn. That wasn't even... Yeah, that wasn't nearly as quick as I could have done that, but I didn't want to push my luck. So I'm now lined up with the village of my airfield way ahead of me there. Max Zimmermann was thought for a long time to be the first pilot to score an aerial victory with a synchronized machine gun, which is a very significant feat. But he actually was not. In fact, besides himself being a very famous ace, he wasn't the first to do pretty much anything. I believe the actual pilot who would go on to be an ace himself, whose name I definitely should have looked up the pronunciation of beforehand, was Kurt Winchins. And he scored his first victory a month to the day earlier than Max did. I think it was 1st of July. Flying again, I think it was Fliegertruppe E.II. And I think he had 3 victories before Max got his first. But they went largely unnoticed because I don't believe any of them were confirmed for quite a while. I'm not actually pulling up here, sorry, I'm supposed to be gaining altitude for this maneuver coming up. Yeah, it wasn't until, sadly, after his death, that in fact it was long after the war had ended, they got the French records and were able to find out that, or match his claims to the loss of French aircraft on those days and times. 2 most famous aces making a name for themselves around about this point in history were Max Zimmermann and Oswald Bolk. I think that's how you say his name. A little bit more altitude here before I pull off these what's almost certainly going to end in a fiery crash maneuvers. So I'm going to induce a spin in a moment's time. What I'm going to do that is pull back on the stick. Doesn't have to be too severe, but enough to introduce a stall, and then I'm going to go full rudder in a direction. And then what I'm going to do is push my control stick in the direction of the spin, and then I'm going to go full rudder in the opposite direction, and hopefully the aircraft will recover. Hopefully, I say. We can't be sure though. This could be the end for Otto Spiegler. I want to get into around about 2000s, just so I got enough time. I may need to use my blip switch. Doesn't look like it always goes smoothly when you induce a spin in these aircraft. So you might see some frantic movement of the joystick trying to get it back under control. Better to practice these things now rather than accidentally start one and then be helpless as we plummet to the earth in a later mission. You see one of the mountains over there, that's really high. That's at least 2,500. Some of those look pretty big as well. Oh, maybe not, that one over there. Maybe a little bit higher than we are. Right, we're about 1900 here. Climb a little bit more and then we're going to start the spin. Okay, I think we're more or less above the village here. Probably not a good idea to do it above the village, crashing down onto them below. Okay, here we go. We're going to try a right-hand spin first here. Pulling up now. Stall incoming. Go full rudder. And hopefully spin will start. Okay, we're in the spin now. So what I'm going to do is push my stick in the direction of the spin and full rudder the opposite direction. And there we go. We're back. Oh. Okay, I can breathe. Oh my god, almost went straight into another stall there. So I lost round about 500 meters there. I've gained a little altitude just by pulling up. Of course, I gained a lot of speed in that maneuver there. I believe the dynamics of a spin prevent the aircraft from falling at such a speed that it would tear itself apart. That can definitely happen in a dive. Hope to avoid that today. I want to position myself above the river here just so I have the maximum amount of time to respond. There's the village just to my right here, so let's pull slightly to the right. Try and gain a little bit more altitude. I only lost 500 meters, so I think around about 1800 I will attempt the next maneuver. Let's see if I can adjust the mixture here for a bit more performance. So I wonder if the height, as I go higher, the air gets thinner, and so I need to adjust the mixture to get more air into the engine to get peak performance. I believe that's how it works. Okay, we're going to go for our second spin now. We're going to go to the left this time. Let's pull back on the stick, go for a stall. Left here now, and spinning. Okay, here we are. So we're spinning now. We're going to go this in the direction of the spin, full rudder in the opposite direction. And come on. Oh, I'm getting close to the ground. Come on. Oh my god, okay. Alright. I'm glad I gained that extra height there. I lost over a kilometer in height. Take some deep breaths. There's like sweat beating down my forehead right now. Okay, survived. Let's just take a breather, and then we're going to go in for landing, I think. While I'm here, let's bent my rings over a little bit. Yeah, no wind still. I don't think wind will change. Maybe it would in a proper mission, but in this custom-created one. What's that? Oh, it's just a soul tree. We're not going to see any wind. I'm going to go back over this airfield here. Not airfield, village here. And we will do a quick turn, go in for landing. There was another maneuver I wanted to try, but we are still in the early days. Technically, I don't believe this maneuver had been invented yet. A maneuver known as the Immelmann turn, created by Max Immelmann. I would guess that since this is early days for him as well, he'd probably not mastered the technique, and this episode's gone on long enough already. Climbing that altitude did take quite a while. Slight dive here, managing to get our engine RPM a little over 12,000 now. I wonder what unsafe levels are. Is there a red line on this? No. I'm sure this is fine. We can go into a much steeper dive than this. Actually going to turn to the left here just to scrub off some speed here because we're going quite fast. Now I'm going to try and use the blip switch for landing here. Hopefully I don't throw it all away at this late stage. believe the blip switch isn't going to give me as controlled a landing as adjusted in the mixture does. Now the blip switch in real life you wanted to use sparingly. I'm not entirely sure where the safe limits were, but I did read about engines exploding if the blip switch was used too much. I don't know if it's the number of times or to how low you let the RPM drop. You can see I can do this to keep my engine RPM below 8 and 10. I'm going to pull slightly to the right here just to avoid those trees on the left. My aircraft seems to be pulling up an awful lot. I'm pushing quite far forwards on the stick here. I wonder if that's because of the speed. Coming in with more altitude, I'm definitely feeling less comfortable this time than I did before. Seems to be a small dirt trail here. Now I can drop my RPM right the way down to about 4,000. The engine will restart. Still got enough centrifugal force just to get it going again. Okay, we're getting ready to touch down here. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a hard landing there. And I'm just going to let it roll to a stop. Don't spin, don't spin. Oh. Okay, we're fine. We got away with it. A late spin like that. You can see I'm full rudder there trying to prevent that spin. A late spin can tip us over and we can damage our wings. But look at that, we landed pretty close to the end. I don't know why I'm messing with my fuel mixture there. Trying to zoom in. The other Pfalz is still here. I didn't give him any orders, so he's just going to sit there. It was pretty common for them to have multiple aircraft like this. And the Pfalz, I never really discussed it, was used primarily because it didn't have the same performance that the Eindeckers did. Sorry, not the Eindeckers, it was an Eindecker. The Fokkers did. It was used primarily as a trainer. Many of them were used just unarmed with no machine guns as trainer aircraft for people with ambitions to fly the Fokker. But here we are, second mission's complete. I survived it. And I'm going to be back tomorrow this time for another mission. This time I'm going to not be flying this same aircraft. I'm going to jump to a second aircraft, another of the aircraft that was available in 1915. And you'll come back tomorrow to see who that was. I'll give you a bit of a clue. So far, I did the Austro-Hungarians on the 28th of July when they joined the war. And then on the 1st of August, the Germans joined the war as well. But they weren't the only nation to join the war on the 1st of August. I'm going to be doing the second of the two tomorrow. I'm saying that now. There's probably others as well. But two of them had their own air forces, and that's what's important. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back again soon.